I hope everybody's faring well right now. I wanted to put this little video together uh, to explain the closure of the shop a little better and also give some advice as far as cross contamination and keeping your hands clean and that sort of thing. Um, I did have to close the shop down. I'm hoping we won't be closed down for very long. There's been some problems getting supplies. I don't see the need to put anybody at risk, including my family, by being open. I mean, granted, I can usually assess. I could talk to somebody who's coming in, find out where they've been, but with the limited testing that's been going on, a lot of people could be infected and not know it, and it's just not a risk worth taking. Because if we do get sick, we can't we can't function either way. So I'm doing it out of abundance of caution, but also because um, certain supplies, medical supplies specifically, that I use to ensure that you know the procedures I do are safe for the public, um, are limited right now. And if I can't do things the way I do them, I don't do them. You know, it's unfortunate. It really is. The last thing I wanted to do was make a decision that's going to cost me any income. I've got a wife, two kids at home. I've got a mortgage on top of like car payments and this and that. And as of right now, I have no income. Some of you guys, if that have been, laid off, you'll be getting unemployment, this or that from your employers. I don't. I'm dead in the water. Um, so I'm hoping this video will help a lot of people make better decisions, inform people a little bit more, and if more people start applying these practices, I think you'll see numbers come down. But the problem is one person doing it doesn't really do a whole lot of good if other people aren't doing it also. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it because so and so is not doing it and so is not doing it. One person doing it, I suppose, is better than nobody doing it. Um, so hopefully, this little crash course on cross contamination and hand washing will help educate some of you guys that think you're doing the right things, but you might not be. I see it a lot in restaurants. People are doing something out of precaution, but what they're doing doesn't do any good. I've been to gas stations to have a sandwich made. Person puts on nice clean gloves. They don't always wash their hands first, which you should. Gloves do break down. You know, Depending on what you're coming in contact with, they're not a fail-safe. Clean hands and gloves work the best. Dirty hands and clean gloves, the gloves become contaminated rather quickly, inside and out. That's just the way things work. So you go in, you have a sandwich made, they put on their gloves, they make your sandwich, and then while they still have those gloves on, they take your money, and then they go make another sandwich. I've seen that a lot. I usually don't say anything. I have, and I look like a complete asshole, so I usually just shut up. Um, it's one of those things. Like, I'm a lot more aware of certain things because I have to be because of what I do, and unfortunately I see a lot of other shops that don't necessarily follow the same guidelines that I wish they would, but that's their prerogative. 15 years in this industry, and I haven't really had any major problems with anybody as far as health issues, because I stay consistent, and consistency is the key word here. You can do these things once in a while, but unless you start making these changes and applying these things consistently, you're never going to get the effects that you're after. Washing your hands once in a while is better than never washing them, but it's not as good as always washing them. Anybody that's been here, they know the first thing I do when you come in, my station will already be set up usually, and I'll say, yep, let me just wash my hands and I'll be right out. Always wash my hands. I'm about to put gloves on, I'm still washing my hands. If I go outside for a minute during the tattoo or take a phone call, whatever, the gloves come off, I usually wash my hands, put the gloves back on. If I leave the building, I always wash my hands when I come back in. Always. Because anything you touch has bacteria on it. Viruses, these things can survive on surfaces. They did a study recently in the last couple days about how long the coronavirus can survive on certain surfaces, cardboard, plastic, stainless steel. And it doesn't survive as long as, like strep throat or some of these other things, hepatitis, HIV. These things can survive on surfaces a lot longer. Most of the things that you come in contact with, because everything does have bacteria on it, you have an immune system that will destroy it before you ever even know. It's not usually a risk. But if you have a compromised immune system, or if you have kids at home, grandparents, sick, whatever the situation may be, just because you're not aware of it, because you're not getting sick, doesn't mean that they're not going to. And that's how colds and flus and all these things spread, is if more people had this information, you would see a dramatic decrease in colds and flus. I think a lot of restaurant workers, cashiers, people that work for the public are not properly trained in cleanliness. What's scary is, you go to McDonald's for say, you go through the drive-through, you're like, okay, my hands are clean. I just got out of the shower. I'm clean. Granted, your steering wheel's not, because everything you touch during the day and get back in your vehicle, you're putting it right on the steering wheel. But anyways, back to the drive-through. I'm not going to go in the store. I'm safe. You're not. As soon as you take your debit card out and hand it to that cashier, she takes it, he takes it, whatever, hands it back to you. Every single thing that they have come in contact with, every other person's card, money, whatever that they have touched that day is on your card now. And that's going to go right in your hand, right back in your pocket, and then you're going to eat your sandwich. That's just something to think about. I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's just the reality of the way the world works and these types of things work. You really need to be aware. I think cashiers should have hand sanitizer right there. Every time they take money between customers, they should be cleaning their hands. If your job won't supply you with it, do it for yourself. Make sure that you're taking care of you, and you're going to be also taking care of other people. Share this video, educate other people about the things that I'm going to kind of run through real quick. When you go to a bathroom, public bathroom, you wash your hands when you get done. If they don't have the magic faucet that just kind of kicks on and you can't ever figure the fucking thing out, if they don't have one of those and it's actually got to turn the knobs, wash your hands, leave the water running, dry your hands, turn the faucet off with the paper towel, throw it in the garbage, grab another paper towel. When you go to leave, instead of opening the door with your hand, grab another paper towel, open the door. There's usually a wastebasket right there by the door. Throw it away. If there's not, I don't want to be that guy, but I'll throw it right on the floor. I'm not taking it with me, because it's disgusting. And that's the way you got to kind of treat everything in public, is like you're in a bathroom, because people are disgusting. We all are. When I go to a gas station to open the door, I'll use my pinky. Granted, I'm still contaminating my hands, and I'm still going to wash my hands, or when I get back in the truck, I'm going to use my hand sanitizer. I don't always do these things, the hand sanitizer and stuff. Right now, out of abundance of caution, I am. But when I go back in the truck, there's going to be a lot less bacteria here than there is here from me opening that door. So I still work it all in, cake it on there. Hand sanitizer is a great product. A lot of people can't get their hands on it right now, and a lot of people put way more faith into it than they should. Nothing, and you can ask any doctor, nothing beats washing your hands thoroughly. That's the number one spread of things, is through hands. You buy a soda at the store, you're like, it's a clean soda. It's not. Some delivery driver put those in that refrigerator, in that cooler. They've done, God knows what they've done. God knows where they've been, what they've touched. People just don't necessarily go crazy keeping their hands clean unless you're a germaphobe. And I wouldn't say that I am. I'm cautious because I've learned a lot through working in a tattoo studio for 15 years. I was fortunate enough that the guy who taught me originally ran a very tight ship. He taught me the proper way to do certain things, and I never cut any corners. I've always stayed consistent with what I learned, and always tried to learn newer, better ways to protect myself and you guys. And that's kind of what brought me to do this video. I'm not one to make videos. I can't stand hearing my own voice, you know. But if it helps spread some education, it's going to be worth it in the long run. Even if only one person, pays attention to what I'm saying. That's one person that didn't know this stuff to begin with. So basically, keep your hands clean. Try to stay away from people. I think more people should try to stay home right now. The way it would work is, and this is just some food for thought, you get all your loved ones together, call them on the phone, whatever, because we don't know, due to the lack of testing, who's sick and who's not right now, or who could have been exposed. It would really be the main thing, who's been exposed. You tell your loved ones, stay home for 2 weeks. Doesn't matter if you lose your job or whatever. This is all gonna, you're not the only person. There's a lot of people in these shoes right now. I'm one of them. Stay home. Tell them to stay home. Let 14 days pass. If in 14 days none of those people have developed any symptoms, now you don't have to be isolated from that particular group, as long as they don't go outside, and come and run the risk of coming in contact with things. So now you have a nice little network of people that you trust, that are together, and you have strength in numbers. Otherwise, what's going to happen is people are going to start getting together prematurely and hoping to have strength in numbers, and then someone's going to get sick, and then another one's going to get sick, and another one's going to get sick, or someone's going to be exposed, and then everybody's exposed. And that is how this thing is spreading. It's common sense, I am here at the shop today gathering supplies, just so I'm not going to be here to keep an eye on my stuff. I'm going to try to stop in periodically, but I'm going to gather my stuff up today. And then when I go home today, I'm not leaving my house for 2 weeks. My wife's staying home. My kids are staying home. Nobody's coming over. I'm trying to get my mother and her parents to do the same thing. My brother, talking to friends of mine. A lot of my friends think I'm an idiot. Whatever. I don't really care what they think. You do what you want to do. But the grand message here is that if everybody did this, a couple weeks would go by, the numbers would come down, and we could all return to living normally. But that's not going to happen. People are not going to take my advice. They're not going to take other advice. A lot of people are, and to each their own. I'm not trying to judge anybody here. That's just human nature. But what is going to happen if people don't do what I'm recommending, or what I'm doing, is it's going to spread, and it's going to get worse. The number's going to go up, and we're going to end up in, we have the potential anyways to end up in a really bad situation, to where these closures and things could last a lot longer than they would need to if people just shut up, quit whining, and took the plunge to protect themselves and everybody else. Nobody is above this virus. I mean, Tom Hanks has got it. There's politicians that have it. There's athletes that have it. Nobody's immune to it, from what we understand. So right now is not like anything any of us have ever experienced. And I know some people are like, "Oh, the government's just trying to scare us." Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. I would rather be safe than sorry. I've got supplies at home. I know a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go buy a bunch of crap." I didn't want to, but I got kids to take care of, and if shit hits the fan, I want to know my kids are going to eat, bullets and food. I've got a lot of them. It's a harsh reality, I'm a pretty peaceful dude. I would hope that things work themselves out, but anything can happen right now. We're pretty fortunate in this area because I don't think starvation would be an issue. There's a lot of hunters out there. There's plenty of, resources available for most of us. So I wouldn't worry too much about certain things, and hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But back to what I was talking about, it's really crucial that every single person right now has an obligation to slow this down. Pointing fingers isn't going to stop shit. Uh, we all need to do our part. Stay home, stay close to your loved ones, stay in contact with people, check on people, look out for each other. You know, don't just look out for yourself, because if shit does hit the fan, you're not going to have anyone to have your back. Everybody needs to work together. What I've been saying about this horrible situation from the get-go is that it's a blessing in disguise, because if things get bad, which I hope they don't, we're going to see how people really are. You know, it could get really ugly. Or, as I've been seeing, there's been a lot of compassion, a lot of people doing things for other people. Basically, we have a chance right now for the first time in my lifetime, your lifetime, anybody's lifetime, from what I would assume, to come out of this more united and better, just better as a society, as a culture, you know, worldwide. Because this doesn't discriminate. This is reality. This is in everybody's face. You know, we're all pretty spoiled. We live in a world where most stuff doesn't affect us. Well, this is affecting everybody one way or another, and it might not be that severe for some right now, and it might be really severe for others, but it has the potential to get really severe for all of us, and that's pretty humbling. And I think that there's good that can come from it. You know, as horrible as that sounds, it's going to really put things into perspective for a lot of people, make people really start to realize what's important and what's not. And hopefully it's over before long, and everybody's safe, and everybody's safe and healthy. You know, I'll probably post another video in a couple weeks. It's a little easier than typing everything. You know, most of the people that would probably watch it aren't the people that need to watch it, because you're just my regular customers, and you already know what I would say. You know. But yeah, make sure you guys are keeping your hands clean. You know, that's the number one thing. Be wary when you go into public. They're saying that, you know, this particular virus can survive in the air longer than it can on most surfaces, because of how small, you know, particles are, and they kind of just dissipate in the air. Which is good practice, you know. But anyways, to be cautious. But you know, it's one of those things. Some of this, there's only so much you can really do to protect yourself, whether it's the coronavirus, the flu, the cold, you know, germs in general. But doing nothing will get you nowhere. Doing something is better than doing nothing, you know, and staying consistent with it is better than doing it once in a while. So stay safe, stay clean, stay home, and just stay the fuck away from me. I love you guys.